Okay, so let's talk about some of the tools here that we haven't used. Before we do that, I want to really quick remind you of a good way to kind of edit your clips. Now, you could take your clip, pull it onto the timeline, and then kind of, start to edit where you want it to come in and out this way. That's an easy way to go about it. Obviously you can also use your razor tool, C on your keyboard, and chop it up that way too, and then delete parts that you don't want. But I think there's even a little bit better way as well. And that essentially is to just, click on the file you want to edit, and that'll load it in the source panel here. And we've kind of talked about this a little bit, but now this is kind of an easier way to mark your in and out points. So let's say I want to come in right here, and then I can mark my in point here, and then say my out point, I want to be right there. And then I can mark my out point right there. And so now I can simply just grab, just click and grab the file and now drop it on my timeline. And now I have an in and out position. And it's real easy to adjust. So if I come back up here into my clip panel, let's say I want to make the, out shorter, I can go there. Or if I wanted to move it, I could also do this as well. And so it didn't update my file there per se, but I could also then once again just drag it in and delete it. Probably an easier way to go about this too, how you'd want to actually do that to adjust your cut, is to just double click on it in the timeline. And now I could adjust it here too a little bit if I wanted to. I could then pull the cut out further here. I can even move the cut. This little center piece right here allows me to move the cut as well. So another way that you could go about editing, I can't move it further because I'm butted up against stuff, but I could just move the clip here. And now I'd have the option to kind of do that. So that's a good way to go about editing your clips, kind of in the source panel before you put them in on the timeline. It just allows you to save yourself a little time. So from there, let's talk about the ripple tool. And I'm actually just going to increase this clip right now. So let's say, the ripple tool, the ripple delete tool, is under this tool right here. Or it's B on your keyboard. So the great thing about the ripple edit tool, essentially it allows you to, normally if we want to, like, say I wanted to, cut this clip off here, I would pull this back and then I'd have to go pull that clip in too. But let's say I had 100 clips behind that would take forever. But the great thing, B on your keyboard, for the ripple edit tool here, is let's say I wanted to back the clip up to right here. I literally could drag it. It's going to literally delete the space and pull my clip in. So I didn't have to pull all of these pieces back again. So the ripple edit tool, or B on your keyboard, is a great tool if you're just trying to, back something up and not have to pull all the other pieces with you. So that's definitely a nice tool there as well. And that's B on your keyboard. From there, let's say, you had, a whole bunch of clips out here. I don't know, let's say you had a ton of clips, right? Going all the way back, and you wanted to, move these two clips because you wanted to insert a clip here. There is a tool you can use here. It's basically just the push forward and back tool right here. So, if you had a whole bunch of clips and you had to keep selecting, that's one way you could do it and pull it so you could insert here. But an easier way is to use this push forward and back tool right here, which is A on your keyboard. So this allows you to select wherever you click, it's going to select everything back from it. So if I just want to click those two, then you can simply move it and then insert your file. And why this is helpful is, like I said, you could have like 40 different edits coming all the way back in here, you know, and you don't want to have to select it all, drag it all the way back. You can simply just select wherever you click on the timeline, it'll select everything backwards, forwards from that, and it'll allow you to move it. So that's also a very helpful tool, as well as you can then do the same thing backwards. It'll select everything backward from where you're at, wherever you're at, which once again is a great way for you to kind of take and move your clips around. So that's the push forward and back tool right here. It's A on your keyboard. So the other one I want to talk about is the is the stretch tool, rate stretch tool. And we've seen some people in class use this, speeding up and slowing down things. So this is really, some of this is kind of a really easy tool. And it's R on your keyboard and allows you to speed up and slow down things. So let's take this clip right here. Actually, I'm going to move this over. Let's take this clip right here and say there was a part that I wanted to speed up or slow down. It looks like that's all there is, that clip. So let's just say there was a part in here I wanted to speed up, or I wanted to speed the whole clip up. I could simply just use R on my keyboard, which is my rate stretch tool, and then I could pull this clip out. Oops. Or if I wanted to speed it up, I could just shrink the clip. And that's it. By shrinking that clip, now it's super fast. And obviously I'd have to get rid of the audio because it sped it up, but that's a really easy way to speed things up just with the rate stretch tool. If you wanted to make it slower, you would just pull it out like that. And you can see as I'm pulling it out, it's increasing the time. And now it's adding frames and making things much slower. It looks pretty, I might want to render this out so it doesn't look so, jittery, but, we're essentially adding frames here. So the better way to do this is to shoot this at a higher frame rate. So you'd shoot it at like 50 frames per second. So that when you slowed it down, it would look much smoother. But this is one way you could go about it. And you notice I'm starting to get a lot of red here because the computer's having to process this. But that is what it is for right now. So that's kind of a quick way to speed up and slow down footage. You can also just right click on a clip and you'll see in here speed and duration. Like so right now it's half what it is. I can reset it back to 100%, or I could double it. And that's a way I could do this as well. And now I've got a clip set at super fast speed there. So that's another way you could go about it. Also, you could, let's say for instance, you wanted to speed it and slow this up in just specific parts. Let's say I wanted to just speed up one part of this. I could cut my clip up, hit C on my keyboard to cut. Say I just wanted to speed up that much, and then C here, and cut that. And then I could use my rate stretch tool, R on my keyboard, and I can make this smaller to speed just that one section up. And I could cut this up multiple times, make certain parts of it speed up and slow down. And now I've got this slow part there. And actually it went up kind of a normal speed, but here, let me do that again. Wasn't what I was after. So let's say I just wanted to speed up one part of this. Like I was saying before, you could just chop the clip up. I just want to speed up this one little part right here, or slow it down. Either way, hit R on your keyboard to change the rate time. Let's say I wanted to slow this one part down. And it's not letting me do that. Oops. I could then, for some reason, it's not letting me do it easily. I could speed it up there, but it doesn't want to let me do that. Well, I could right click on it and change it here as well. So I'm at 100%, so I could slow it down to 50%. And now I've got that slowing down there and then back into normal time. So that's one way you could go about it if you wanted to speed up and slow down just parts of it. Let's see where we're at. Okay. You can also reverse the whole thing by just right clicking on it and go reverse speed. Pretty easy thing to do. Just select your clip, right click, and then go speed and duration and reverse it. Once again, you could cut up this clip and just reverse a very small part of it. But now you're going to see her writing going backwards. And it's having a hard time playing it because it requires a lot of memory to do that. But now she's moving backwards. And if your computer's really slowing down because you're in reverse mode, you can literally render out that clip so it actually just applies the whole effect and then it's on there permanently. You just have to be careful it's on there permanently. So essentially what you would do is go to clip and then you'd sit render and replace, and it would literally apply the effect onto the clip as if you had exported it, and now your computer won't run as slow because it's trying to process it in real time. And so finally, there's one even better way to go about doing this whole situation in terms of especially your speeding up and slowing down, and it's called time ramping. And you'll notice you have this line right here, and this line allows you, right now it's set to just opacity, so you can make an image, darker or lighter depending on the opacity. Right now we're set at 100%, and I could pull the opacity down. If you wanted to fade this to black, this is an easy way you could do it. Use your pen tool, P on your keyboard, put a point here and a point at the end, V to grab that last one, and then I can simply fade to black. So that line functions in different ways. Right now it's set to function as opacity, but if I right click on it and go to show clip keyframes, I can change it from opacity to motion. And in this case, we want to change it to time ramping. Now this allows us to use a time ramp, which works better because it allows us to ease in and out in transitions, and we don't have to cut up the whole thing to do it in specific parts. We can simply add keyframes in here to do it in various parts. So I could put a keyframe, let's say I wanted to speed up just this section right here. I could put a keyframe in it right here, which is, this is our keyframe toggle right here. So I'm gonna add a keyframe there, and I wanna speed it up to about right there. So then what I would do is just drag this line. If I want to speed it up, I just pull it up. And now you'll see it just speeds up that one section, and we're back down. And I could add more key points along this line to slow it down. But also the cool thing with this is that you can, if I zoom in here, if you pull on these, just click and pull, it allows you to ease in and ease out of these, and you're out. So this works much better than doing it with just using the tool. I highly recommend using this over other things. So let's add some more points. I'm just gonna, I think you can also add these with your pen tool, but I'm gonna add one here. Obviously I'd wanna review my footage, but just for the sake of time, I'm add maybe another one here. And you can remove these two by just clicking on it and hitting delete on your keyboard. That's what you can remove them that way. And then I want to slow this down, so I'm going to pull the line down, and notice it's making the clip longer. And I'm running out of real estate there because I'm running into some of my other clips, so maybe I'll move them down just for a second. And zoom back in here. Oops. So I'm just going to move these further out. Zoom back in here for a moment. And maybe I won't go that far. Maybe I'll just go there. And then once again, I can zoom, I can ease these in and out. So now when I play it, I gradually slow down and come back to normal time there. So time ramping is probably the best way to use the kind of speed up, slow down thing.